Okay, we'll recite this mantra 7 times. Heart Sutra mantra. Peyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Swaha Dyatha Om Gate Gate Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, for the inferential cognizer, we come to realize that there are 3 kinds. One is the inference to the power of the fact. Inference to the power of the fact. What is the object? Inference to the power of the fact. What is the object of this inference? Slightly hidden phenomena. Very good. Inference through confidence. No, what's the object? Because the inference, inferential cognition or the inference mean the same. So inferential cognition means it's the mind. Mind means there should be the object. What's the object of the inference through confidence? Very hidden phenomena. Very good. And the inference through renown. What's the object? The arbitrariness of the labels. Very good. Arbitrariness of the labels. Okay, good. Okay, now we will switch to the... Okay, let's turn to page 33. So up to 32 from where we left, this is all just the details. You can read it yourself. We already explained it before. You can read it yourself. And then it's more like a self-explanatory. Whatever is being discussed there in a little more technical or the elaboration, you see that these are somehow we dealt with them. Now, page 33, threefold divisions of mind. Threefold division of mind. How the mind is divided into the threefold. Okay, there are many ways of divisions, many ways of classification. Threefold one, that is conceptual consciousness. In Tibetan, it is Tokpa. Tokpa. Okay, just in Tibetan, I'd like to make a little bit of clarification here. Tokpa. And Tokpa, the sound-wise, sound meaning the Tokpa. It has the 2 kinds. One is the Tokpa in the form of realization, and the one the Tokpa in the form of conceptualization. The realization, the spelling is Ratatatanartokha Satok with the sa towards the end. Ratatantokha Satok. Whereas the conceptualization, Ratatatantokatok. The pronunciation is much the same. How you pronounce is much the same. Tokpa. We say Tobatumbo. Tobatumbo meaning high realization. Tobatumbo. Whereas Tokpa in general is conceptualization. Namdok. Namdok. Mede namdo sala. Mede namdo sala. Right? Namdo sala means very superstitious. Right? Okay, so that is Ratadan Togato. Okay, so now conceptual consciousness. Tell me, what is conceptual consciousness? Now you know some of them already. How would you understand? How do you understand conceptual consciousness? Conceptual mind, conceptual consciousness, conceptual awareness, whatever. How do you, what do you understand by conceptual mind, conceptual consciousness? Yes?
That
Okay, Mike.
Conceptual consciousness is the one which is perceiving the object through a generic image.
Very good. Conceptual consciousness, conceptual mind, is the mind or the consciousness which engages with its primary object through the generic image. Through the generic image of the object. Very good. Okay. I'd like to make this clarification here. It is very important clarification. Otherwise, you are bound, given that you are from psychology, most of you are from psychology, somehow related to psychology. Therefore, you are bound to meet with, the psychology of other traditions where, because you speak in English, where you're bound to use the same vocabulary, but they actually mean very different. You're getting it? Okay, this is what I'd like to make clarification here. In the context of the Nalanda, mainstream Nalanda tradition, which is now so alive in the Tibetan tradition, Sakya, Kaikyu, Nyingma, Gelug, in all four traditions, and then in the Chinese tradition as well, Chinese tradition, Tibetan tradition. So these fall under, they follow more the Nalanda tradition. And then on the other side we have Theravada tradition. So basic psychology is much more the same. Then the something unique about the Nalanda tradition, which you find in the Tibetan tradition today. So there we have the lot of discussion on the subtle mind. You're getting it? Whereas, generally speaking, in Theravada, Theravada Buddhist psychology, and the Chinese Buddhist psychology, they talk about the mind way I'm presenting it now, but they don't really talk about the subtle mind as much. Subtle mind. And subtle mind, when you do talk about the subtle mind, they talk about the subtle mind in the form of the meditative states, which is common between the Buddhists and the non-Buddhists. The subtle mind presented, which is common between Buddhists and non-Buddhists, and the subtle mind exclusively from the Nalanda tradition that is available in the Tibetan Buddhism, which is Vajrayana, or we call it Vajrayana. So there they talk about the very subtle mind, which is exclusively taught there, not in the I would say not in the other Buddhist traditions. In the non-Buddhist traditions, we do find the concept of the subtle mind. Okay, this is a little different. If you get a little time tomorrow, we'll touch on that area as well, a little bit. Now, how these are they, given that you are from psychology? Okay, now tell me how many you are from psychology, directly or indirectly, as a major subject or as a minor subject. Raise your hands. Or doing be a part of the counseling. Alhamdulillah, no? You are not related to psychology subject? Related. Okay, raise your hands those who are related to the psychology subject. Normally, no, you're interested. You have the passion for psychology. Yes, Buddhism, of course, Buddhist philosophy is very vast. It also incorporates psychology. Okay, so given that you are associated with the psychology indirectly, right? If you're doing philosophy, within that again the psychology comes in there. There you are bound to meet with people who learn psychology from different traditions. Then you're bound to have conversations. And if you have conversation in Hindi, well and good. Otherwise in English. In English, you have to use the many common vocabularies. And there could be some vocabularies, if you are not too careful, then you may think that two of you are talking about the same thing, but to your dismay, you come to realize that it's very different. It's the same vocabulary, how you define and how the other person defines is very different. Okay, for that matter, I'd like to give a little bit of clarification of a confusion. Major is the confusion with the usage of the word consciousness. This is a major the confusion. There's ambiguity there. So how this word consciousness is used in the mainstream Buddhist psychology, and how this same word consciousness is used in the non-Buddhist the psychology. Non-Buddhist meaning the Indian classical traditions, non-Buddhist Indian classical traditions, and not the Western psychology. Of course, the Western psychology had their own use of the word consciousness, and the Buddhist psychology and the non-Buddhist psychology in India. So there, they use the same word consciousness to mean very different reference, to mean very differently. You're getting it? Okay. In the first, let me share with you what does it mean by consciousness in the Buddhist context. For example, keep it very simple. Keep it very simple. If possible, try to, the way I encourage you from day one, that whatever we learn, make sure that you really know that, yes, that's true, that is really happening with me. Okay. What we have is, we have the body and we have the mind. We have the body and we have the mind. As simple as that. And then in the Buddhist context, say, on the basis of these two things coming together, body and the mind coming together, then in our mind we get a feeling, we get a sense of person. Sense of person coming on the basis of the body and the mind. Besides the body, if you take the body and mind away, there's no person left. This I'm talking from the Buddhist concept point of view. For example, say the table, top plank of the table and the legs of the table. Top plank of the table is not a table. Legs of the table, they are not a table. Put them together, we get a feeling that there's a table there. And that's true, there's a table there. But there's no table different from the top plank of the table and the legs. Remove the top plank, remove the legs, there's no table left. So this is how it is applied to all phenomena, including the self. For example, I'm a boy because I have a body of a boy, and I'm not so compassionate. I'm very compassionate. I'm intelligent. I'm not intelligent. It's all decided by the mind. If I keep away the mind, then this concept of I'm intelligent, I'm not intelligent, all this disappear. And if I take away my body, that I'm a boy, I'm a not boy, they all disappear. You're getting it? So the sense of self comes into being because they're coming together, body and the mind. And these are two things there. Then on that basis, your mind impute a self there. In other words, in the Buddhist philosophy, everything is, particularly in Buddhist philosophy, the highest Buddhist philosophy of the four schools, what are they? Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Chitamatra, Madhyamika. Okay, Madhyamika, I don't want to go into the most divisions. Madhyamika say that everything exists subjectively. Nothing exists objectively. You're getting it? Nothing exists objective. From the object, you can't see anything there. You take the top leg of the table away. You take the legs of the table away. Where is the table from the object? There's nothing there from the object. Right? Just put them together and then subjectively your mind imputes a concept of table, and that is table. Okay, this is not an easy concept. This in the monastic universities. Okay, you see the Tundu Bandela, right? Again, Tundu Bandela must have spent many years studying there in the monastic universities. They studied for like 10, 20 years to study the concept. And this concept, if you understand, and this is something that you can reach, this understanding you will reach through the power of, through the inference, through the power of the facts, through the reasoning of the power of the facts. From there you will see that everything is illusion, including myself. Everything is coming from my subject, nothing really from the object. Okay, this is a very separate topic, and if you're interested, then you have to join the retreat in Vajradhara Center. Right? Where is Vajradhara Center? In Pune, right? You want to know about it? Then the founding directors here. The founding director of Vajradhara is here, Indrajit Ji. Yeah, so you can get more information from Indrajit Ji. There are many programs happening there, many programs. Okay. Okay. What was I saying? Okay, so the point is that why I was going all these details? Anybody? Okay, consciousness, yes. Okay, now in the Buddhist concept, let us not mix up the various traditions. First, learn the traditions very clean, Buddhist concept. And then they say the Christian concepts. Then they say Samkhya tradition. and so forth. Learn it very separately. And later on, when you're very proficient, well, then you can mix, no problem. Initially, when you mix, you will be confused. Okay, so the consciousness in the context of Buddhist psychology is that what we have is we have the body and the mind. Nam and the Roop. Roop is the body. Nam is the label. Nam means label, name. Nam. Our naam kya hai? The label. Label or the name, label. So why the mind is known as the label is because the body can be seen directly with the eyes. Somebody else's body we can see directly with the eyes, but the mind we have to communicate from the words. Only through communicating with the words you can know, okay, what are you feeling? I'm feeling happy. What made you happy? I was happy because I learned about Vajradhatu. Right? Why are you happy with Vajradhatu? I learned that there are so many programs happening, right? Okay, so these, I'm knowing what is going in your mind through the words, through the verbal communication. Verbal is labels, through the labels, different words, different labels. You're getting? So the mind is referred to as the labels. Nam and Roop. Roop is the body and the Nam referring to the mind. So these are the two things that we have. These two things, put them together, then we get a sense of a self. So the consciousness means the mind. Just the mind. So mind, chit. Mind, consciousness, awareness. In the Buddhist context, these three are synonymous. Synonymous. Okay. Now, within Buddhism, within Tibetan Buddhism, there are some traditions who emphasize so much on the awareness. Awareness, not so much using the word awareness. This awareness, consciousness, mind, they're all borrowed from English words, from English. But some traditions within Buddhism, they emphasize on the awareness part more in the usage of the vocabulary. So they'll be very careful. Be very careful, meaning that okay, awareness means consciousness, consciousness means mind. This is how you understand the mainstream Nalanda tradition. Whereas you should be, once you know the meaning so well, then you should be able to you should be very smart. That the moment you switch from one system to another system, be very sympathetic to learn what they refer to when they use the word awareness. You're getting it? So it can be used slightly in a different way. Okay, I'm not going to go too much into detail. Generally speaking, in Buddhist psychology, the mind, consciousness, and the awareness, they mean the same. For example, in Tibetan, the word would be like, say, the Lo, Rik, She. Lo, Rikpa, Shepa. These three are synonymous. These are synonymous. And then Lo, Rikpa, Shepa, and Shepa, with this, the word number Shepa comes. Number Shepa. And some people think that in Buddhism there is the soul, there's Atma, there's soul, because when we die, there is this consciousness or the number Shepa which travels, which moves. Okay, that number Shepa or the consciousness, this is not the soul in the Buddhist context. You're getting it? So many people, they're confused with this. And in fact, some of the girls from Chandigarh University who recently attended the program, they asked this question recently. I said that you have to come to this program. Unfortunately, they have a very strict attendance, so they couldn't come. So all these clarifications are needed here. This is from the mainstream Buddhist psychology point of view. Consciousness, mind, awareness, they mean the same. Now, in the context of like Jainism, then Samkhya, Vedanta, meaning within Hinduism, Jainism, then say like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Baha'i, all these traditions there, generally speaking, again we have to go into detail, again the Vedantic version of the Samkhya version and the Mimamsaka version, again they are very different. Within Hinduism, there are different versions are there. So generally speaking, the consciousness, all these traditions, except for one part of some, okay. all these traditions like the Mimamsaka, the Vaisheshik, Nyaya, Vedanta, and then the Jainism, and then the Christianity, and the Judaism, Islam, then the Sikhism, all these traditions, they accept what is known as Atman. And they say that is more, this word Atman is from Hindi, the Indian origin, Atman, whereas what is similar to Atman, concept of Atman in English is soul, concept of soul. So this word soul came from the West. Judaism, Christianity, right? Judaism, Christianity, and then after Christianity is Islam. So then this concept of soul came from the West, concept of Atma came from the East. And these two, if you don't go too deep, if you don't go to explore too deep, these two mean the same. If you explore too deep, then in India, because of the very rigorous debates going among the different traditions, so their philosophies developed so much. What is Atman? They have a very clear-cut understanding. Atman is a person characterized with three attributes: permanent, unitary, and independent. A person or a being which is characterized by three natures: permanent, unitary, and independent. This is a very developed philosophical position of the concept of the self in India. Whereas in the West, overall speaking, I would say that I'm not really there too deep into the Western philosophical debates or the Christian philosophical debates and Judaism and so forth. What I would say is that in Christianity, there are brilliant philosophers in Christianity, amongst Christians, there are brilliant philosophers and theologians and logicians there. And many of the very bright philosophers, they were Christians. Western philosophers, they were Christians, many of them. And so there, all these very tricky debates about the self, about the created God. These are all happening within the denomination of the Christianity scholars. If you accept the God, then how it comes from the free will, all these debates are going there. And then some of the priests, they were so audacious to challenge the concept of God that they were sent to jail. It happened. Some of the priests, right? They're so open-minded, daring to question even the fundamentals of their own religion, their own theology, and some of them were unfortunately sent to jails. Okay, so what I'm saying is that such open discussions were happening there. Otherwise, overall speaking, the impression that I got, what I'm sharing with you may not represent the Western concept of the soul in its complete form, but in a generic form. In generally speaking, the soul, if you ask what the soul is, I met some of the great theologians of Christianity, and no one ever said that the soul is defined as the self or the being characterized having these characteristics. No, they just say soul, full stop. That is, there's something there. There's something there which they say at the time of death, with the Christianity or Judaism at the time of death, and you wait till the final judgment. Final judgment, it is there, the soul rests there in the coffin. Final judgment, and after final judgment, then you either go to heaven, go to the hell. Right? This is one version, one very, the commonly accepted version. And then the one Christianity, meaning somewhere in time, back in time, there was a belief in rebirth. And then I heard from a very standard Christian priest that the concept of rebirth was accepted in Christianity till a certain point in time. Then the very powerful Pope, very powerful Pope, and the church simply banned this concept. And now today, in Christianity, rebirth concept is not accepted. Right? This is from what I heard from a very standard Christian priest. Okay, so what is consciousness from the point of view of the other traditions other than Buddhists in India, for example? So they will freely use the word consciousness. This consciousness, they don't mean the mind in Buddhism. They mean the self which is characterized by the three attributes: permanent, unitary, and independent. This is what they call as consciousness. So therefore, when you go for conferences, or when you have the interactions with other people on the consciousness, don't think that they when they use the word consciousness, don't think that, oh, this is what they're referring to as a mind. No, you should be a very smart listener. First, listen to the person well, and see what the other person is referring to when the person uses the word consciousness. You're getting it? In most cases, they mean the self which is permanent, unitary, and independent. When you die, this self-consciousness will leave. The Atma will leave. Atma, they translate it as consciousness. And in the West, I'm not too sure. In the West, this is me attending conference. This is all mostly happening here in India, because of which I came to know that this is how the non-Buddhist traditions use the word consciousness to refer to Atman, right? Okay, Atman. Whereas in the West, then Sigmund Freud has his own usage of the word consciousness, right? Pre-consciousness, subconscious, the consciousness, then subconsciousness or unconscious state. You get it? Okay. And then what other scholars like Carl Jung, how he uses the word consciousness, that you have to study separately. You get it? But the consciousness is the English word. Because it's the English word, it's a connotation of consciousness, something which is conscious, something you're aware of. For example, when you faint, you're unconscious. You're getting it? So these are the things we need to know. So consciousness when we speak in say within the Indian context, when you meet with somebody else, consciousness means what? Non-Buddhist traditions, consciousness refers to the Atma, which means a self characterized by three attributes. What are they? Permanent, unitary, independent. Okay, this is the thing. So with this in mind, now going back, threefold division mind. Conceptual consciousness, you know that, right? I'm not going to go into detail. Conceptual mind, then the conceptual mind as opposed to conceptual mind as opposed to non-conceptual or direct mind, direct consciousness or direct perceiver. You're getting it? Okay, you know that. And consciousness, the conceptual mind is, what is the unique feature of conceptual mind? What's the unique feature of conceptual mind? The mind which uses the generic image to get to its primary object, to engage with its primary object, it uses the generic image. And what is the unique feature of the direct mind or non-conceptual mind? The mind which apprehends its primary object directly without using the generic image. You're getting it? Good. Okay. Now, one thing that I like to share with you is, we did already yesterday, all conceptual minds are mental, sensory. Mental consciousness or sensory consciousness? All conceptual minds, they can be both sensory and mental, or they are always sensory consciousness, or they're always mental consciousness. What do you think? I give you two options. I'm giving two options. Conceptual mind, which always uses the generic image to get to its primary object. This conceptual mind is always mental consciousness, is always sensory consciousness. First option, I say, is always mental consciousness. Second option, I say, a conceptual mind is always sensory consciousness. Third option, the conceptual mind can have both. Some of them are mental consciousness, some of them are sensory consciousness. What is your take? Huh? Huh? What do you mean mental? Mental? Conceptual both?
No.
Only mental. Okay, be very precise. Only mental. That's correct. Conceptual minds are always mental. This is one thing that you need to know. Another thing that I'd like to share with you is that conceptual minds are always mistaken mind. Don't forget it. Conceptual minds are always mistaken minds. Okay, how? You will ask how. I know you'll ask how. Okay, let's keep that aside for the time being. So these things, these are the statements that I'm making, just see if this makes sense to you. You're getting it? And in which case, later on, when you discuss with other people, right? Initially, when you're a student yourself, then you try to come up with these concepts, which are not what you find in the psychology, the Western psychology. Then you feel little uneasy. But when you become very confident with what the Western psychology is, what the Buddhist psychology that you are studying, when you become very confident, then you can bring this concept, because these concepts are universal. It's not that only these conceptual minds, right? Conceptual minds, mental consciousness happens only to the Buddhists. What about Carl Jung? Did he have Carl Jung, Sigmund Freud? Did they have the mental consciousness? Yes, whether they accept or not, they have it, right? Whether they accept or not, you have the lungs. The fact that you're breathing means you have the lungs. You're getting it? Like they have it. They articulate it that way or not, that is up to them. But they have it. So you finally, the good knowledge is a knowledge which you can convey to somebody who has no idea of this, and the other person gets the conviction, yes, that's true, which means that your knowledge is very good knowledge, refined knowledge. It's very important. With this mind, the conceptual mind and the non-conceptual mind or direct mind. 2. And what I said is that all conceptual minds are mental consciousness, number 1. Number 2 statement that I'm making is all conceptual minds are mistaken mind. Mistaken, not necessarily deceptive mind. All conceptual minds may not be deceptive. You're getting it? Let me give another important statement. All inferential cognitions are conceptual minds. All inferential cognition. Okay, inferential. Where did you learn this inferential cognition? Where did you learn this? In the sevenfold division of the mind. Very good. In the sevenfold division of mind, you learn the inferential cognition, which is that number 3, number 4, number 5? Number 2. Very good. Okay. So all inferential cognitions are conceptual minds, and all conceptual minds are mental consciousness. From this, we can deduce that all inferential cognitions are mental consciousness. You getting it? All inferential cognitions are conceptual mind, and all conceptual minds are mental consciousness. So from this we can deduce that all inferential cognitions are mental consciousness, never sensory consciousness. You're getting it? Good. Okay, now the question is, how can you say that all conceptual minds are mistaken? First, before I give the answer, let me ask you the question. What's the difference between mistaken mind, Tulshe, and the deceptive mind, Lokshe? What's the difference? Anybody? Raise your hands. Indrajit ji?
I'm not able to. It's in regards to the appearance, and the other is in regards to the apprehension.
Which is the appearance? Which related to appearance? Mistaken mind. And the appearance? No, the apprehension? Deceptive. Very good. Okay. The mistaken mind, which in Tibetan say, okay, in fact, I need to also learn what is the Sanskrit equivalent, what's the Sanskrit word for this, that we have to check. Okay, the mistaken mind is the mind which is mistaken with respect to the object of appearance, and the deceptive mind or lokshe is the mind which is mistaken with respect to the object of apprehension. Okay, very good. Very good. Yes. Mike.
While discussing Lokshay and Tulshay, when we say that one is with respect to the act of appearance and one is with respect to the act of apprehension, there tends to be some confusion, because if there is a act, if it is mistaken with the act of apprehension, it is naturally mistaken with the act of appearance also.
100%. You're right.
So when we keep saying that,
did you hear what the Nishida is saying? This I already said it 2 days ago.
Yeah,
right?
but when
what
we
Nishida is saying is that we say Lokshay Tulshay. All Lokshay should be say girls and human beings.
yeah.
Right? Girls and human beings.
Yeah.
All girls should be human beings. All human beings may not be girls.
Yeah.
So all Lokshay should be Tulshay. All Tulshay may not be Lokshay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because Ladol and I were having this conversation about the terminology, and then when we say, I mean, shouldn't we say that Lokshay is mistaken with the act of both both appearance and apprehension, and Tulshay is the being mistaken with the act of only appearance.
Okay.
Instead of separating the two, that one is appearance and one is
So
apprehension.
if you don't separate it, it's for the intelligent people. If you separate it, it's for the less intelligent people. Right? Nishita is a girl as well as a human being. Right? You're getting
Right now we're less intelligent.
Listen. Nishita is a girl as well as human being, which means that the person is not too sure if a girl should be a human being. Right? Whereas an intelligent person will say, Nishita is a girl as well as human being. No need to say this, it's redundant. Intelligent people say that, no need to say redundant. But less intelligent, Nishita is a girl as well as human being. There's no girl who's not a human being. Right? It's for taking for. So intelligent people, economy words is very good. But the economy words is waste of time. This is redundant. Right? Okay, so therefore, I do not say like this. For example, Arhat as opposed to, Arhat as opposed to sentient beings. Arhats as opposed to sentient beings. Arhats as opposed to ordinary beings. Arhats as opposed to samsaric beings. Very good. I do not say Lokshay as opposed to Tulshay. I do not say this. I just say Lokshay and Tulshay. As opposed to means these two should be mutually exclusive. That what is not this should be this. What is not this should be this. This cannot be this. A cannot be B. B cannot be A. Right? So I do not say Lokshay as opposed to Tulshay. I just said human being as opposed to girl. I do not say this. Human being and girls. Human being and boys. You getting it? Okay. So nuances. Yes. Okay, good. Now within, one thing that I was left with is what? I promised to say something and I left it. Actually, you remember? Oh yes, Tavishi, you remember?
Yeah.
What? Remind what?
Atulya's question that how do we go through the stages of the mind, and you had told us that there are 3 ways: cognitive, afflictive, and meditating, which you were supposed to explain.
Okay, good. Actually, what was I to explain to you?
Like how do we go through these different stages of mind?
Actually, I forgot.
No, I didn't.
I forgot. What do you mean by stages? Stages of anger?
No, the 7
Stages
folds
anger.
of mind.
Good. Good means I didn't say good. I said good. Right? Good. I didn't say good. Right? Okay, the point is, what we learned is that actually you said that I told you, what do you see in this progression? What do you see in this progression? You said that the mind is becoming subtler. One is becoming subtler, more purified, better. If that is the case, then you ask me how to go from the worst state, the bottom, to the most purified or the most refined version. This word, not just sevenfold mind, right? Sevenfold mind. So mind is seen in the light of purification process, seen in the light of transformation process. How will it happen? So this one question. This one question from yesterday, but what I was to address to you is that all conceptual minds should be yes, I said all conceptual minds should be all conceptual minds should be mental consciousness. I said it. Then another one I said is that all conceptual minds should be mistaken. So I was just anticipating how. You're getting it? How all conceptual minds are mistaken. Okay. What I asked you to think of is, okay, think of India Gate. But think of your mother. Think of your mother. Think of your mother. Think of your mother. Okay, now tell me what came to your mind. What came to your mind when you think of your mother? A generic image of the mother came to your mind. Your mother did not come, right? Right? Your mother did not come. Generic image of the mind came. So you were supposed to be thinking of your mother, but the generic image of the mother comes. Generic image of the mother is not your mother. So your mother and generic to mother, these two come as mixed in your mind. What actually comes is the generic image of the mother comes, but through this you are thinking of your mother. So the mother, the main object, and the generic image of the mother, these two come mixed in your mind. Through the generic image, then you see the mother, not the mother directly. You're getting it? So your primary object and the generic image of the primary object, these two come mixed. In actuality, these two are not mixed. Your mother is not mixed with the generic image, but in your mind, these two are mixed. So therefore, mixed means these two are seen as one. These two appear as one. Appear as one. Are these two one or different? Appearance-wise, they appear as one, but are they one or different? They're different. They're not one. So while they're different, they appear as one. So therefore, it's mistaken with respect to the appearance. You're getting it? So all conceptual minds are mistaken mind. You're getting it? And then what I also said is all inferential cognition is conceptual mind, and therefore it is always mental consciousness. You're getting it? Okay, these are the few things that we need to learn. Good. Okay, and compassion. Compassion is mind or body? Huh? Compassion is mind or body? Anger, mind or body? Stress, mind or body? Physical stress, mental stress, right? Okay. Agitation, mind, body. Very good. Wisdom, mind, body. Mind. Now, very good. Now you are getting a very good picture of what mind is, what body is. Compassion is mind. Compassion is mental consciousness or sensory consciousness? Huh? Say when there's the poor dog suffering, then your eyes are watery, very compassionate. Your eyes are not compassionate. Huh? Compassion. Hey, your eye consciousness is compassion, or your mental consciousness is compassion? Not the eyes, not the eye consciousness. Okay, not eye consciousness. It's a mental consciousness. When the mental consciousness, when it becomes very intensely compassionate, that triggers the physical symptoms like watery eyes, even your face. From the face you can see the face of compassion. So this all, they come out in the form of the symptoms, or they manifest in the form of symptoms, right? Compassion per se is what's going inside your mental consciousness. It has nothing to do with the sensory consciousness. It has nothing to do with the body. The symptoms are felt in the body. You getting it? Okay, compassion. Wisdom. Mental consciousness, sensory consciousness. Ignorance. Mental consciousness. Huh? Not sensory. Are you sure? Okay. Say, oh, wine. Right? If somebody is addicted to alcohol, you see this, it's like a yellow wine. Right? Wow, your mouth waters. So what is the yellow wine? The eye consciousness is mistaken or not mistaken? This is ignorance, not ignorance. This is ignorance. You're getting it? Okay. So now, ignorance, let's say, ignorance, there are two. Ignorance, seeing the effigy as a human being. That can happen on the sensory consciousness. But seeing the, say for example, okay, let's say, the very kind person, actually a person A is very kind. Person is very kind. Oh no, he's very evil person. This is ignorance. So this ignorance happens on the mental or the sensory consciousness. Person A is very kind. Let's say person is very kind, and you somehow get impression that person is very evil. He's very evil. Is ignorance or wisdom? Ignorance happen on mental consciousness or sensory consciousness? Mental consciousness. Okay, ignorance, some of them can happen on the sensory, but some of them happen on mental. And the ignorance responsible for creating all the problems is the ignorance with respect to the ultimate reality. Ignorance with respect to ultimate reality is always happening on the mental consciousness, not the sensory consciousness. You're getting it? Ignorance with respect to the ultimate reality is always mental consciousness or sensory consciousness. It's always mental consciousness. So therefore the opposite, what's the opposite of ignorance? Wisdom to remove this ignorance which is the root of all suffering. That wisdom must be sought within the mental consciousness, not in the sensory consciousness. You're getting it? Okay. Now, okay, we'll quickly go to page 36. Now that's easy. 36 is easy. Then 36, the first one is easy. Second one's a little complicated. First we'll do the first one, then we will stop here. Okay, 36, mental consciousness versus sense consciousness. Sense consciousness, sensory consciousness. Okay, give me some examples of sense consciousness. Sense consciousness, sensory consciousness, sense consciousness, they're the same. Okay, sensorial consciousness, sensorial is very little archaic. It's little, the old usage, sensorial. Nowadays is more sensory or sense consciousness, sensory consciousness, but it is not wrong to say sensorial consciousness. It's fine, right? Give me some examples of sensory consciousness. Very quick. Okay, now let us make very clear. Let us make it very professional. Don't say my body feeling cold. Let's say my body consciousness feeling the cold. My body consciousness. You're getting it? That is sensory consciousness. Very good. Anybody else? Yes.
My eye consciousness
Image of your friend Dalai Lama or His Holiness the Dalai Lama? Yeah, I thought His Holiness is her friend. Yeah. Image of his own, my eye consciousness seeing the image of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Very good. Okay, anybody else? Bonjour.
My ear consciousness hearing the traffic.
Okay, my ear consciousness hearing Gishila saying Bonjour. Yes? Oh, yes. Okay, anybody else? Okay, my nose consciousness spanning the lunch. Right, it's now that time at the lunch time for lunch. All right, still the class is going on. My nose consciousness smell the lunch. Okay, anybody else? Namsala. Huh?
My eye consciousness reading a book.
Okay, my eye consciousness focus on the focus on the book, not on the lunch. Okay. Gentlemen, Rinzila.
My taste consciousness, feeling the thirst.
Okay, my taste consciousness, my tongue consciousness, my taste consciousness, my gustatory, taste consciousness. They're feeling the thirst. Very good. Get to the Bandila.
My consciousness see Geshe-la.
Okay, my eye consciousness seeing Geshe-la. Very good. Okay. Okay, Pujula.
All consciousness feeling the stretching smile of Geshe-la.
Okay. All our which consciousness? Eye consciousness, sense consciousness. Okay, sensory consciousnesses, the sensory consciousnesses triggering. When will the class stop? So that we can have the lunch. When will the Geshe-la stop? Geshe-la smile stop, and have the the lunch. Okay, good, very good. Now give me some examples of mental consciousness. Quick. Mental consciousness. No, just right there. Direct, quick. Just a compassion. My compassion is mental consciousness. Putila. My ignorance. Ignorance there too. Sensory ignorance is also there. Mental ignorance is also. Okay. My ignorance pertaining to the ultimate reality. Okay, Namjula. Mental consciousness. Okay, I'll say the tiredness, right? My awareness that I'm tired. Tiredness per se can be physical, tactility, but my awareness that I'm tired, that is mental. Very good. Yeah, this is very creative. Anybody else? Intention. Oh, intention can be both. Oh, this is interest. This will come later. Intention can be sensory as well as mental. And that's very good. It's a big. You can discuss more on this. But technically speaking, intention can be both. This will learn later. Yes. Huh? Oh, excitement. Excitement is always mental. Very good. Anybody else? Anxiety always mental. Very good. The okay, not depressed, a sudden shock. How come that he calls Tenzila suddenly? Right, I'm not prepared. This shock, this is purely mental. Very good, Vipinji. Huh? Kapilji? Oh, wisdom. Oh, wisdom is always mental. Very good. Okay, let's say my mind. If you say mental consciousness, nobody can debate with you. Because it's already you said mental consciousness. So say my mind offering prayers to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Offering prayers. Prayers always done through mental. It's not physical, sensory. Very good.
No.
Thinking. But thinking. That's always mental. Very good. Ajirji?
My mental consciousness feeling the joy of being here in Tibet house.
Joy. Joy is always mental. Joy is always mental. Very good. Atulia?
What about something like inventing or invention?
Okay, the creativity.
Yeah, creativity.
The creativity, my creative mind, that is always mental. Tamala?
Geshe-la, loving and kindness.
Loving kindness, always mental. Shalmali?
My anger.
No, you don't have anger. You don't have anger. How can this be mental? Right? If you do have anger, that is mental. I never saw you angry. Do you have anger?
Sometimes.
Okay, then it's mental, purely mental. Okay, the Amali, you said before. Okay, Adullah.
Geshe-la, one question.
No.
I mean, related to this only, mental consciousness.
Oh, you desire to ask question.
Desire to ask.
That is purely mental. Very good, thank you.
No, I mean,
Seeing a beautiful flower, what beautiful is it, mental or sensory?
Appreciation of the beauty, appreciation of the aesthetics. Appreciation of aesthetics is always mental.
Okay.
Very good, thank you. Okay, anybody else left?
Fear?
Fear is always mental. Very good. Pain, physical pain, mental pain, both are there. Pain, physical, mental, both are there. Tenzi Dumala? Yes, program coordinator? Our boss? Oh, yes, Tenzi Dumala? Yes.
Joy.
The joy. Yes, finally you call my name. What a joy. Finally you call my name. That is purely mental. Very good. Putila, you gave? You said already? Yes.
Narendra asked about the beautiful flower, right?
Aesthetics or the beauty of the
The
flower.
appreciation is mental, right?
Appreciation always mental.
But then the aesthetic is that
No, aesthetic and aesthetic sense. Aesthetic and aesthetic sense is different. Aesthetic is the object. Aesthetic sense is the mind inside.
okay. Thank you.
Aesthetic sense is purely mental. Okay, Wangchula.
Self-grasping ignorance.
Wow, self-grasping ignorance is purely mental. Very good. Tavishi? Huh?
I'm thinking.
Your thinking is always mental. Your thinking is always mental.
An image of my cat.
Okay, they say the creating the image of your cat, or visualizing the image of the cat, your cat. This is always mental. Very good. Hallucination can be sensual also. Right? Okay, good. We're doing good. The next one is a little complicated. Then we'll do afternoon. Okay, now lunch, and then we'll come back at 2 o'clock. Yes. And tomorrow, we'll have the same class tomorrow. So tomorrow's the last day. All the Tibet houses of Tenzi Tomala will talk later. But there should be somebody to do the camera work. Okay, so tomorrow we have the same class. Morning 2 sessions, afternoon 1 session. Afternoon how many sessions? 1, 2. Kwansu. And the Indrajit, when are you leaving tomorrow? 4 o'clock flight. So the afternoon no class. Okay, tomorrow morning we have 2 classes. Then we stop. Okay, yeah. Okay, lunch.